The Miami Dolphins. Dan Marino's rocket arm. 6 AFC East titles. 3 Hall of Famers. The best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. But what happened after 17 seasons of heartbreak ended? Some became successful businessmen, others battled serious injuries, and one completely disappeared from the spotlight. It begins with the center who anchored it all, then vanished. Dwight Stephenson. 6'2", 255-pound technician. While teammates got flashy nicknames, Stephenson just snapped the ball and destroyed people. No trash talk, no celebrations, just perfection at center for 8 seasons. Dan Marino called his snaps poetry. The Killer Bees defense couldn't touch him in practice. 5 Pro Bowls, NFL Man of the Year 1985. Career ended in 1987 with a knee injury that robbed Miami of their anchor. Hall of Fame 1998. After football, construction manager and general contractor in Florida. Pro Football Focus created the annual Dwight Stephenson Award in his honor, given to their best overall NFL player regardless of position. Received the Walter Camp Man of the Year Award in 2005. Today at 67, still building things in Florida, just like he built Marino's pocket. Dan Marino, the guy who threw 48 touchdowns in 1984 and never won a championship. That's not irony, that's tragedy. The best arm in football history attached to the worst playoff luck. 0 Super Bowl wins. Lost his only appearance to Joe Montana and the 49ers 38-16. NFL MVP in '84 when he shattered every passing record. Hall of Fame in 2005. 17 seasons in Miami, 0 rings to show for it. The Marx brothers caught his passes. Chemistry like that? Once in a lifetime. After retiring in 2000, Marino stayed in Miami as special advisor, mentoring quarterbacks in team meetings. Founded his autism charity after his son's diagnosis. Distributed over $22 million. Made Ace Ventura movies. Became the face of Isotoner winter gloves. A Miami quarterback selling cold weather gear. Then Nutrisystem. Then AARP. Today at 62, still ringless in Miami. Mark Clayton. 5'9" receiver who hauled in Marino's bullets like backyard catch. The compact half of Miami's dynamic duo. Clayton and Mark Duper terrorizing defenses through the 1980s. Clayton would run these precise routes, find the soft spot in coverage, and Marino would thread the needle every time. Led the NFL in receiving touchdowns twice, 18 scores in 1984, 14 more in 1988. Part of the most prolific receiving tandem in league history. 582 catches, 8,974 yards across 11 seasons in Miami. After football, founded Live Audio, making luxury sports headphones with patented technology. Launched My Christian Tee, a faith-based clothing line, focuses on philanthropy and sharing his personal struggles through a Christian perspective. Today at 63, building businesses while spreading encouragement through his faith journey. Nat Moore, the receiver who caught Dan Marino's first NFL touchdown pass in 1983. Moore had been waiting 3 years for a real quarterback. David Woodley couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Don Strock was decent, but inconsistent. Then this rookie from Pittsburgh shows up, and suddenly Moore's running perfect routes again. 12 receiving touchdowns in 1977 topped the NFL. 4 Pro Bowls. Played 13 seasons in Miami, bridging the perfect season era with Marino's arrival. Caught passes from Bob Greasy. Caught passes from Marino. 2 completely different eras of Dolphins football. After retiring in 1986, founded the Nat Moore Foundation in 1998, working with disadvantaged kids in Miami-Dade County. Became a broadcaster for Florida Gators games. Serves as vice president in the Dolphins organization, overseeing the Alumni Association. Today at 73, still bleeding aqua and orange in the front office. Mark Duper. 5'9" receiver who made 6'4" defenders look foolish. The junior partner in Miami's Marx Brothers duo with Mark Clayton. While Clayton got the spotlight, Duper quietly put up 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons in the mid-80s. 3 Pro Bowls hauling in bombs from Marino during those record-breaking years. After football, tried the Arena Football League with the Miami Hooters in 1994. Brief stint. Then came the real fight. In 2013, Duper revealed he was diagnosed with CTE based on symptoms from all those hits over the middle, became an advocate for player safety and brain injury awareness, got inducted into Miami's Team Hall of Fame in 2003 alongside Clayton. Today at 65, still battling the effects while pushing for better protection for today's receivers. Bob Kuechenberg, 6'2", 253 pounds of pure grit, who played guard with a broken arm. 1973 season. Doctor said 6 weeks minimum. Kuechenberg said, "Tape it up." Played every snap of the playoffs with a cast hidden under his jersey. Nobody knew until years later. The anchor of Miami's perfect season offensive line. 6 Pro Bowls protecting Bob Griese, and later Dan Marino in his rookie year. Part of back-to-back Super Bowl championships in the early 70s. Hall of Fame finalist 7 straight years, but never got the call. After football, stayed close to the organization, inducted into the team's Ring of Honor in 1995, but the hits caught up. Cognitive decline hit hard in his 60s. The tough guy who played through everything couldn't fight this battle. Gone at 71 in 2019. Tony Nathan, the hook and lateral. January 2nd, 1982. Epic in Miami against San Diego. Nathan takes the handoff from Duriel Harris on the last play of the first half. Flips it to Harris, who's running the other way. Touchdown. Pure playground magic that helped spark the greatest comeback in playoff history. Alabama running back turned Miami's Swiss Army knife. 3,000 rushing yards. 250 catches, 8 seasons protecting Dan Marino's backfield. Key piece of those early 1980s playoff runs that came up just short. After football, coached 4 NFL teams including Miami. Became a bailiff in Miami-Dade County Court. Published Touchdown Tony, Running with a Purpose in 2015. Today at 67, still living in South Florida where that lateral made him a legend. Bob Baumhauer, 6'2", 255 pounds of Alabama muscle who made quarterbacks disappear. The nose tackle who ate double teams for breakfast and still found ways to terrorize backfields. 39.5 sacks from the middle of the line? That's not normal. Anchored Miami's Killer Bees defense through the early 80s. 5 Pro Bowls. Helped Miami reach the 1982 championship game. Part of that legendary unit with Betters, Beaucamper, and the Blackwood brothers that nearly got Marino his ring. After football in 1986, Baumhauer went full entrepreneur. Built Aloha Hospitality from scratch. Owns restaurants across Alabama, including Dolphins Fine Dining and Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Alabama Hall of Fame inductee in 1995. Today at 69, still running his restaurant empire while most ex-players are nursing bad knees. Doug Betters, 6'7", 260-pound edge rusher. The kind of defensive end who made quarterbacks check under their beds at night. Topped the NFL with 16 sacks in that strike-shortened 1982 season when games actually mattered. 2-time Pro Bowler who terrorized AFC East quarterbacks. Anchored Miami's Killer Bees defense that pushed the franchise to its first Super Bowl appearance. After football, Betters traded pass rushing for fly fishing. Became a guide in Montana's wilderness, teaching tourists how to catch trout instead of quarterbacks. Founded the Doug Betters Winter Classic organization in 1985. Raising money for kids needing medical care. Still works with Special Olympics and United Way. Today at 68, trading Miami Heat for Montana Rivers, helping sick children while most former players are chasing endorsement deals. Richmond Webb, 6'6", 300 pounds of pure protection. Dan Marino's bodyguard for a decade. The left tackle who never let anyone touch the golden arm. Webb would literally grab face masks and throw defenders to the ground like rag dolls. Referees just shrugged. 7 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pro selections. Anchored Miami's offensive line from 1990 to 2000. 7 Pro Bowls doing it, the foundation that kept number 13 upright while he threw for 61,361 yards. Retired in 2004 after a stint in Cincinnati, then signed a one-day contract to retire as a Dolphin in 2005. Classic move. Webb opened a construction company in South Florida, building luxury homes instead of pocket protection. O.J. McDuffie, Three-time team MVP for a franchise that had Dan Marino throwing passes. Think about that math. Marino never got his ring, and his slot receiver wins team MVP 3 separate years. McDuffie caught 415 passes across 8 Miami seasons, becoming Marino's most reliable target when the Marx brothers aged out. Retired in 2000 with a toe injury that wouldn't heal. Then McDuffie found his real calling, talking about those Marino years. Started with WAXY Radio, moved into sports blogging, launched his own podcast called The Fish Tank, Dolphins Tales from the Deep, founded the Catch 81 Foundation for South Florida kids. Today, at 55, still telling stories about the quarterback who made him team MVP. A.J. Duhe, 6'1" linebacker who made the most famous interception in Dolphins history, wearing a jersey caked in Orange Bowl mud. January 23, 1982, AFC Championship against the Jets. Duhe picks off Richard Todd and rumbles 35 yards through the slop for a touchdown. Miami wins 14-0, punches their ticket to the big game. That muddy moment defined his 9-year career with the Killer Bees defense. No Pro Bowls, but when it mattered most, Duhe delivered the franchise's biggest defensive play of the Marino era. After football, Hollywood called, worked as an actor, and landed at Caesars Entertainment. Louisiana honored him in 2001. New Orleans followed in 2018. Today, at 69, living in Fort Lauderdale with his wife and 3 kids. Still the guy who got Miami one step closer to getting Marino that ring. Reggie Roby, 6'2", 245 pounds of pure leg strength who could drop a punt on a dime from 60 yards out. Miami's weapon from 1983 to 1992. When other punters were booming 40-yarders into the stands, Roby was placing 50-yard spirals inside the 5-yard line like he had a GPS system attached to his foot. 3 Pro Bowls. Career-long 77-yard bomb that's still talked about in Miami. Protected Dan Marino's field position for a decade during those AFC Championship runs. Then the money problems hit. Filed for bankruptcy in 1993 while bouncing between Washington and Tampa Bay. 6 more seasons chasing the perfect punt he already had in Miami. After football, became marketing director for Backfield in Motion, helping inner-city kids through athletics. Worked with youth programs across Nashville. Died February 22, 2005 at just 43. Sudden heart attack. The leg that could boom 77-yarder couldn't save him from the silent killer. Gone too soon. The defense had playmakers, the special teams had legends, but what about the linebackers and running backs who defined those playoff runs? John Offerdahl, 6'3" linebacker who looked like he belonged in a boardroom, not a football field. Clean-cut kid from Western Michigan who showed up to Miami in 1986 wearing khakis to team meetings. Then he'd hit the field and absolutely demolish running backs. Won Defensive Rookie of the Year that season. 5 Pro Bowls anchoring Miami's defense in the late 80s. The guy who was supposed to get Dan his ring but never quite got there. After retiring in 1993, Offerdahl opened Offerdahl's Bagel Gourmet, 10 locations across South Florida, merged with Einstein Brothers Bagels and made serious money. Then launched Offerdahl's Cafe Grill in 2000, healthy casual dining before anyone knew what that meant. Today at 60, 6 restaurant locations and counting. Made more money selling bagels than tackling quarterbacks. Keith Byers, 6'1", 260 pounds, fullback, tight end, running back, wherever Marino needed him. Coaches loved having versatility in the backfield. Problem was, being good at everything meant being great at nothing. Spent 14 NFL seasons bouncing between Philadelphia, Miami, New England, and New York Jets. Made 1 Pro Bowl in 1993 with the Dolphins as Marino's safety valve. 61 catches, 503 yards receiving from the backfield. After retiring in 1998, Byers found his voice behind the microphone. Co-hosts sports radio on ESPN 1410 in Dayton, works as a television analyst for the Yes Network, and coached high school football in Boca Raton from 2009 to 2011. Today at 61, still talking football daily. Andra Franklin, 6'1", 225 pounds of pure power, who somehow got buried behind Tony Nathan in Miami's backfield. The guy rushed for over 1,100 yards in just his second season, averaging nearly 5 yards per carry. But Nathan got the spotlight while Franklin did the dirty work between the tackles. Played 4 seasons for the Dolphins from 1981 to 1984. 0 Pro Bowl selections despite that monster 1982 campaign with 11 touchdowns. Knee injury ended everything after the '84 season. The same year Marino exploded for 5,084 yards and 48 touchdowns, Franklin watched from the sidelines as his teammates reached Super Bowl 19. The Nebraska product, who rushed for over 700 yards in the strike-shortened '82 season, never won that Super Bowl ring. Died in Lincoln at 47 in 2006 from heart failure. Woody Bennett, 3 seasons in Miami, never started a game, carried the ball exactly 47 times, but here's what made him different. While Tony Nathan got the headlines and touches, Bennett was the guy coaches trusted in short yardage situations. The reliable backup who knew every play in the book. Part of those early Marino years from 1983 to 1985 watched Dan's rookie explosion from the sidelines, contributing when called upon during Miami's AFC Championship run in '84. 0 Pro Bowls, 0 glory, but stayed ready every Sunday. After football, Bennett found his true calling, became a pastor at a church in Tamarack, Florida, trading playbooks for prayer books. Today at 68, still preaching every Sunday, serving his community with the same dedication he brought to those Dolphins practice squads. Irving Fryar, first overall pick in 1984 by the New England Patriots. 9 years later, traded to the Miami Dolphins for a second and third round pick. Finally caught passes from Dan Marino, the quarterback the Patriots passed on in the 1983 draft at pick 15 when they selected Tony Eason. 5 Pro Bowls across 17 seasons with New England, Miami, Philadelphia, and Washington. Never quite the superstar that first pick suggested, but 12,785 receiving yards don't lie. Solid career spanning 4 teams and 2 decades. After football, bank fraud. Fryar got caught in 2015, conspiring to steal $850,000 through fake loans. 5-year sentence, served 8 months, released in 2016. From catching touchdowns to catching charges. Today at 62, the first pick who wasn't first-rate learned prison isn't much different than the NFL. Everybody's got a number. Tom Olivadotti. Before becoming the Dolphins' defensive coordinator, he coached the University of Miami Hurricanes defense to a national championship in 1983. Then came 9 years with Miami's NFL squad, from 1987 to 1995. Kept the defense playoff caliber while Marino threw touchdowns and the roster aged. After the Dolphins, coached linebackers in Cleveland, Minnesota, New York, and Houston through 2005. Defensive backs, linebackers, coordinating, whatever teams needed. His son Kirk followed him into coaching. Retired in 2005 after 3 decades of scheming defenses from college to the pros. The coordinator who gave Marino a fighting chance while other teams couldn't stop the passing game. Now 79 and out of the game. Some got rich, some died broke. Which player story shocked you most? Drop a comment below. Don Shula, the winningest head coach in NFL history. 347 career victories across 33 seasons. Coached the Baltimore Colts for 7 years, then the Miami Dolphins for 26 more. 2 Super Bowl championships as head coach, 7 and 8 in the early 70s. 6 AFC titles. Hall of Fame coach in 1997, the 1972 perfect season architect who went 17-0. But here's the thing, before coaching greatness, Shula played 7 seasons as a defensive back, recording 21 interceptions. After retiring in 1996, opened Don Shula's steakhouses across Florida, became equity stakeholder in his own Miami Lakes Hotel and Golf Club, vice chairman of the Dolphins while endorsing everything from cars to vitamins, passed at 90 in 2020. The Miami Dolphins of the Dan Marino era. 17 seasons of pure quarterbacking excellence and teammates who gave everything to get him a championship. From Kuchenberg's veteran leadership to Clayton and Duper's speed to a defense that never quit trying. This was football at its highest level. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through Dolphins history, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Next week, the Hogs, Washington Redskins of the 80s.